So, after last week, we've already established American versions of Japanese things didn't work in the 90s. So when they tried again in 2017, and based off an anime film rather than a live action film, could they do any better? Sort of. Let's find out. I'm Berryman, and this is 10 Things Wrong with Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell is a 2017 American science fiction action film based on the Japanese manga of the same name. It tells the story of Major, a cyborg super soldier who starts investigating her past when she realises not everything is what it should be. When the film was released, it did get mixed reviews and praise for its visual style, action sequences and cinematography, but it was criticised for its story and lack of character development. So what have I found wrong in this film? Well, here we go, 10 things wrong with Ghost in the Shell. Number 10, whitewashing. This film had tons of controversy before the film came out, and that was its casting of Scarlett Johansson as Major. Now, on a personal note, because I actually enjoy the original anime, and I do think Scarlett Johansson was a good choice for it, I can understand the criticism though. However, Scarlett Johansson was the second choice. Margot Robbie was the first choice, and I can't see her playing Major properly. She turned it down to play Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad. Brilliant move on her part. She was fantastic as Harley Quinn. But yeah, Scarlett Johansson, even though as an actress she has the skills and she has the demeanour to pull off Major perfectly, Major was a Japanese character and a lot of Japanese American people were unhappy. So much so there was an online petition which actually received 104,000 signatures. This is the thing, in Japan, they loved her. They thought it was brilliant. They couldn't understand the controversy. They were actually supportive of Scarlett Johansson's casting, so much so that this film was more highly rated than the original anime in Japan. That was also the only market that this film actually did well in. Number 9, racist undertones. So yeah, we've already talked about the whitewashing from a production point of view, but what about a film point of view? Because it actually gets even worse. We already know when you watch the film that Major, when she was a kid before her accident, was a Japanese person. And then she died, and then they put her brain in a perfect body, which happens to be a white female. Isn't that more racist than the casting controversy? I mean, you can imagine what it would have been if they actually said, we're going to have a white male. Oh my God, that would have been worse. But yeah, you're now saying that a white female is better than a Japanese female. That's in the actual film. That is very, very wrong. Number 8, generic setting. Now, I don't know if they've done this to try and combat the controversy of the first 2 parts, but you don't generally know where this film is set. So when you're watching this film, the actual city, although it looks nice, is very generic. There's not really that much Japanese culture, but there's also not that much American. I mean, hell, the skyline could be from Judge Dredd and be Mega City 1, for all I know. It doesn't really scream Japanese culture, which is one thing the original anime did. It screamed, this is Japan, and we bought it. This film doesn't. This could be in the middle of nowhere and nobody actually could tell the difference. Too generic. Number 7, press screening. One of the things in any film is the press screening. It can make or break a film, is the press screening. And the stuff that happens in this press screening, cool, you all know about it, don't you? Of course you don't, it never happens. Which is never a good thing. I've said that before. Even if you've got a film that is a dud, I can guarantee there's going to be at least one film critic that's going to like it. But if you don't show it to them, you're just advertising, hey, we have a rubbish film. That doesn't help your film. Number 6, missing heart. Now, I'm not being literal here. There's people who are not walking around with hearts missing. I'm actually on about the heart of the film. It doesn't have one. That's something that the original does. One thing you got with the original anime is you really got behind Meiji's character. You really got behind her character arc. You really got into it. Whereas this, you weren't really that bothered. Not really. It was like, why should we care? It was missing it, is probably the more accurate description. Now I'm calling it, it's missing its heart. Call it, what would you call it? But it was missing something, and that missing something does not make good viewing. Number 5, Rila Fukushima. Now, I was not looking forward to doing this video for that reason only, because I'm pretty sure I have butchered her name. But she's a talented actress, except she has the person that predicted Wolverine's death. She is the actress that said, I see you holding your heart in your hand when you die. And obviously that happened in the next film. Yeah, she's credited in this film. She is actually in the end credits of this film. Did you see her in this film? No. The reason being is she's got credited, and she's credited as the Red Geisha, but she's actually all the geishas, but none of them. Confused? Well, let me explain. The face models on all these geisha robots is actually based on her face. She is not actually in this film, yet she gets credited for this film. It's really bizarre. Now, conflicting reports, because some reports say it is her and some reports say it isn't her, is when you first see a geisha robot, you see it from behind and one is walking. Some reports say that's her, some reports say it's not. I don't know, but yeah, she's not in the film. Number 4, where's Tricky? In the trailer to this film, there's a brief clip where you see Tricky, who is a British rap artist. He was actually in Fifth Element as well. He was a funny guy, but you actually see him close up. Where was he in the film? Seriously, where was he in the film? He's not actually in this film. He's not even credited in this film. Now, granted, this could be a deleted scene that they haven't used, but I can't find any information about that deleted scene. Information on this film is, bizarrely enough, quite hard to come by. Where's Tricky? Number 3, Scarlett Johansson Whoopsie. Now, I've titled this segment just to get all your pervs' attention. You're not seeing any body parts of Scarlett Johansson, so get that thought out of your head. But it doesn't mean she doesn't make a mistake. In fact, she makes a really bad mistake in this film. During a gunfight scene, someone says, "Major, go!" And she gets up, walks around the corner, and stands there. And then the next scene, she's running. Whoops! See, there you go, there's your whoopsie. Yeah, she should have carried on running, not just get up, stand, stop. She is a brilliant actress, and that is a rookie, and I mean rookie mistake. Number 2, bullets. Now, it's common knowledge that in any film, they take liberties with the amount of bullets a gun has. So you see a gun that's supposed to have 4 bullets, it fires about 50 times. I don't normally pick those up, even though I want to. But I am in this film. The reason being is the chief, when he's attacked, fires 8 bullets. So why am I picking it up when I don't normally? Well, the previous scene that he was in, you see him picking his gun up, you see him loading the gun up, and you quite clearly see 6 bullets. Now, if you hadn't shown that, I wouldn't have said anything, because there are some, but they're very rare, there are some revolvers that have 8 bullets. But generally, most revolvers only have 6 bullets, and this film quite clearly has 6 bullets, yet he fires 8 times. Another whoops on that one. Number 1. Hair. One thing that was bugging me all the way through this film was Scarlett Johansson's hair. I was actually thinking all the way through that she's got a really bad wig on. All the way through this film. I just thought, that's a bad wig. Couldn't they have got her a better wig? Until I found out that's not a wig she's wearing. They have actually styled her hair to look that bad. Now, yeah, obviously, I'm not one to talk about good hair days, but still, Scarlett Johansson is a very beautiful woman, who always looks good in all of her films, and you make her look like she's wearing a really bad wig. Come on, you had so much money. A little bit more on hair, please. It was awful. Final thoughts. So what do I actually think of this film? Well, the thing is, I'm actually going to have to agree with most of the reviewers on this film, which is a rarity because normally I don't. But does this film look good? Yes, it does. Especially, it's not completely CGI. There is CGI in this film, but it is a mixture of CGI and model work. And I love that. I'm a big fan of less CGI. So kudos to that. The action sequences are brilliant. The special effects are amazing. So all that lot is good. Do I think the story's a bit naff? Well, yes. They sort of amalgamated a few different bosses from various Ghost in the Shell franchises and made this one up, rather than just using the Puppet Master from the original anime film. I didn't really get much development on any of their characters, really. Even though this was supposed to be a major story, it did feel nothing really changed. She was still a super soldier at the end of this film. She hasn't changed that much. All that's happened is she's found out her past. That was it. It wasn't really inspiring, exciting. Just looked good, which sometimes can help, but you need a good story to go with it. And that is where this film fails. The soundtrack was amazing, and I am a big fan of soundtracks. So what am I going to rank this film? I'm not going to be overly harsh because it does sound good. I can see they've tried. They just failed in their try. I'm actually going to give this a 5. 5 out of 10 berries. So yeah, straight down the middle, that is it. So that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Am I too harsh on this? Am I being too nice on this film? If you have a different rating to me, let me know in the comments below. That would be great. On to next week. I'm going to do something very different. Very different. I mean, I've done 2 weeks of Japanese films, so very different. Pure American horror. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Come back next Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.